So far, 270 flood legends have been identified in different countries and cultures around the world. The Hawaiians have a legend that says, long after the death of Kunihana, the first man, the world became a wicked, terrible place to live. There was one good man left. His name was Nu'u. He made a great canoe with a house on it and filled it with animals. The waters came up over all the earth and killed all the people. Only Nu'u and his family were saved. One family saved in a boat full of animals. Sounds kind of like the Bible story, doesn't it? The Chinese have a legend called the Hiking Classic. They say that Fuhai is the father of their civilization. Fuhai is probably Noah, okay? The story says, Fuhai, his wife, 3 sons, and 3 daughters escaped a great flood. He and his family were the only people alive on earth. After the great flood, they repopulated the world. Interesting. Now, the Toltec Indians in Mexico have a very interesting story. They said the first world lasted 1,716 years and was destroyed by a flood that covered the highest mountains. One family named Cox survived. 1,716 years. Well, the Bible dates add up to 1656 from the creation to the flood. But that's not bad for a legend 4,000 years old. Question, why would there be nearly 300 flood legends? I think it's because there was a flood. That's my theory. Okay. Probably the Atlantis legend, everybody's searching for the lost continent of Atlantis. Probably it's another flood legend. As far as the folks on the boat were concerned, the whole world sank beneath the waves. Actually, they were going up. The world wasn't going down. I think Atlantis is another flood story. Anyway.
Ancient monuments, deep underwater. A once thriving metropolis, now half a mile under the sea. Lost cities submerged for thousands of years.
All over the world, there are sunken cities. There's more than 200 known sunken cities in the Mediterranean alone.
What we're looking at are the remains of cities at a time when mainstream archaeology tells us there were no cities anywhere in the world.
Are underwater monuments examples of mankind's earliest civilizations? Or is there evidence of skills far beyond that of primitive man? And if so, where did it come from?
The native...
Across the Atlantic lies the island chain of the Bahamas, just southeast of Florida. Here in 1968, archaeologist J. Manson Valentine believed he found part of Atlantis when he discovered an unusual rock formation off the coast of North Bimini Island.
It's only in about 12 to 18 feet of water, so you can view it easily. First, scientists thought this was just beach rock, but then several other scientists exploring the Bimini Road noticed that the beach rock was on top of other beach rock with balancing stones wedged in between. And they said, nature doesn't do that, man does. And they realized this is a harbor, a breakwater for a harbor. From the shallow edges of Bimini all the way to the Gulf Stream in 300 feet of water, we have found many fascinating complexities that look like remnants of ancient cities or structures. Roads, pathways, structures covered in coral.
Could the Bimini ruins be remnants of Atlantis? And if so, could these roads lead to other sites buried under sand and water? In the year 2000, while mapping the seafloor off the western coast of Cuba, a research expedition led by Russian-Canadian oceanographer Paulina Zalitsky spotted symmetrical stone structures deep below the water. Remarkably, they were over a half-mile down.
Divers cannot do this kind of investigation, so we have to use remote operating vehicle. And this vehicle is equipped with video cameras and manipulators, and it controlled from the deck of the ship.
The expedition was also armed with side-scan sonar equipment, used to create images of large areas of the seafloor and underwater objects.
I was in control room on board of the ship, and we were receiving that image coming from side scan. And this is just one of the many other images that we were obtaining of the area of structures made of large stones placed one on top of another.
Well, what do they end up with? It is an image that shows these rectangular 90-degree angles over and over and over on very large structures that seem to have wide avenues.
The exploration found huge stone blocks in pyramid shapes. Others more circular. Most were gigantic, reaching 16 feet in height and weighing several tons. 30 geometric structures emerged, appearing to be the remains of streets, buildings, tunnels, and pyramids, all at a depth of 2,200 feet below the surface of the water. In 2001, researchers from India's Oceanic Institute detected anomalies on the bottom of the Gulf of Combat, 7 miles from shore.
They had been commissioned by the Indian government to do a survey of pollution in the Gulf of Combat up in the northwest of India. And they were not expecting to find anything except a mess down there. But suddenly, their side-scan sonar started returning images of regular structures.
The images revealed an enormous network of stone buildings, now shrouded in mud and sand, and covering an area of 5 square miles.
What we're looking at in the Gulf of Combat are the remains of cities. There's actually 2 of them, and it turns out that they are positioned on the side of ancient river channels. They look like cities that have been submerged for a very long time, at a time.
Yonaguni, Japan. This small island is at the westernmost tip of the Japanese archipelago. Scholars believe the first inhabitants migrated here from Southeast Asia during prehistoric times. In 1987, in nearby waters, dive tour operator Kiichiro Arataki made a shocking discovery. A massive complex of stone formations lay hidden a mere 60 feet beneath the ocean surface. Experts call it one of the greatest discoveries in the history of underwater archaeology.
What's intriguing about the complex at Yonaguni is that there are a whole range of monuments pretty much side by side, and this, to my eye, looks unmistakably to be the work of human beings, not the random action of the ocean.
Here, at an elevation of 12,500 feet, lie the dark waters of Lake Titicaca, the highest navigable body of water in the world. In August of 2000, an Italian team of divers and archaeologists launched an underwater investigation of the legendary lake. There, submerged under 100 feet of water, the team uncovered traces of a paved road, a stone terrace, and a wall nearly a half-mile long. For centuries, local legends have spoken of a lost underwater city called Wanaku. Could these ruins provide proof that such a city did, in fact, exist? Then, another shocking discovery. Lying on the lake bed was a large sculptured stone head. Could this ancient relic offer a clue to the origins of this incredible archaeological find?